someone has been going through a purge. And when I say purge, it's actually a physical purge, right? So you might be experiencing it in your solar plexus area. There's this energy where it's kind of like someone is really releasing so much, but it's not even just from this lifetime. It's like they're moving towards something that they themselves would see as an achievement, right? So it's really personal. It's not like external accolades. It's something that they themselves are going to really be proud of themselves for. But before they do that, they're stripping back a lot of layers. The Emperor. So it could be divine masculine energy, but it's kind of this taking action. It's like taking action from a much more grounded, rooted, stable space, right? Where there's it's kind of like divinely guided. But what I'm hearing is this energy of, in society, there's a lot of focus on, sin, what is and isn't sinful, right? So it's really about operating from a fear-based timeline, as opposed to what is from the heart, right? What's leading us to love, to unity, to togetherness, right? It's that it can be done in such a way that it's like subconsciously conditioned, right? And I think someone's really understanding the workings of their inner mind, and they're changing their actions on the external as a result of this, right? So it's not just about fear-based timelines or, avoiding sin or repercussions of sin or whatever that is, right? It's actually about understanding integrity, understanding what it means to be heart-led, even from that masculine energy, right? To be led by that. It's just sticking up there is the Tower. Yeah, someone's literally, this is an energy who has had destruction. Like, they thought they had a solid foundation, but I think that there's something they were avoiding happening for so long that it was like this false sense of security is what I'm hearing. They'd build something. It's like they're building a castle, but it was built on like not solid ground, right? It was too hasty, definitely too hasty. Okay, the bike sticking out there, the motorbike, so maybe that's relevant. Yeah, there was someone could enjoy running as well. There's definitely a lot of haste in these decisions, right? However, with the Fool energy, this is where someone's really clearing through that noise now. That purge that's taking place. It's like, and she's wearing yellow, and it feels like that's the solar plexus energy, right? It's like they're finally gathering the courage within them, right? To really, this is given that root chakra, that sacral, that solar plexus, all those lower three chakras, very divine masculine kind of realm, to have to go heal through those, right? And they're finally accessing, as they do this, their heart space is opening up, right? So they're understanding what it means to take actions, not from a fear-based timeline, not from a pain-based timeline anymore, which is what was conditioned to them from a very young age by society, by everyone, everything around them. And this is what they were holding on to, Four of Pentacles on the Justice card. Again, it's lifetimes. I'm really feeling this is something to do with lifetimes, right? There's something they've held on to. I'm hearing something about village. So it could be that they've really grown up in like this energy, in this life where they have like a lot of family and people around them. Maybe they draw on external energies around them to really support them, to really get their advice, that kind of thing, without seeing the detriment of this, the conditioning of these people's mind space, and how actually it's not in alignment with them. They're understanding this better, and people often say you're a product of your environment, which can very much be true, but when there's something deeply internally within you that just doesn't resonate, you'll begin to realize that. You'll see the cracks in the structure, if you will, right? And this is what's been happening for somebody. Yeah, look at this. I think that they're reminiscing on a lot of decisions they've made from a very young age, right? But also I think they're seeing things from a more, like they're being able to step back and look at things and observe from a wider perspective, right? Looking at the bigger picture. I think that they're there's something they're sad about when it comes to the past. They're definitely feeling nostalgic about something. Yeah, whatever this is, they've been sad about it in real, like this is what I mean, in private. So this achievement that they're moving towards, it's going to be so personal, because whatever it is, it means something to them and their heart. They've been spending a lot of time healing from whatever this tower was, this destruction of their external environment, a lot of things, truly. It's like it all just went up in flames is what I'm hearing. I don't know if that's actual flames, but there's something about lightning here as well. Could be relevant. Maybe like storms, or there's been a stormy weather when things have been, happening. Look what they're finally racing towards, what they're allowing themselves to be guided by finally. Because they've been spending needed time, not jumping from this person to that person or this situation to that situation, whatever it is. They've spent the needed time healing by themselves, right? And when I say that, I mean, you know, this energy of without all the you don't need to be tied to anybody kind of thing. I think that this energy of honouring and trusting, they're getting into that energy of honouring and trusting what is theirs will be theirs. It's already, like, you know, that red thread, you know, it's connected regardless. High Priestess. This is what they're allowing to finally guide them to take this leap of faith moving forwards towards whatever this is. There's something about Father that's coming through as well here. Something about Father. Some kind of father wounds that someone's looking at, or they're understanding how they were really moulded by the way their father, I'm hearing, didn't love them, actually, specifically. So maybe like they were present, but they just didn't receive that, the right, you know, that like divine masculine role model wasn't prevalent. Ooh, the Moon, the Queen of Wands. I think someone's holding on to someone here. This energy, or at least, you know, maybe they've hidden their own spirituality as well. That's another thing that's coming through, their own authentic glow, shine. And it's finally time to say, look, jumping from that heart space, say, yes, this is me, these are my wishes, this is my truth, right, my voice. Someone's ready to shine their light. Well, they're not ready just yet, they're getting there, is what I'm hearing. They're still kind of delving beneath the surface and understanding what it is. I think that when it comes to this energy of, because she's come out with the Justice card, I feel like they're thinking about, I think that they think someone was their good karma, and something happened that wasn't good. I say good. It was something, clearly things that need to happen, but it was definitely something that I think that they feel like they need to correct this situation, whatever it is. They need to bring divine justice to this Queen of Wands, if you will. I think this is what they've been guided to do as well. Page of Wands, I think that for too long they were taking actions still from a place where I think that they're a risk taker. Okay, so it's not necessarily a bad thing. They're definitely a risk taker. But that means you have to take the lessons with you of the risks you've taken in the past. I think this is what's helping somebody grow into this like divine masculine energy. I think they're actually taking stock and not just like racing ahead before they've actually understood what the decision is that they're making. Okay. There's definitely something about their inner child. I think they're missing the joy and the fun of their inner child, to be honest. Okay. Knight of Wands. This has got someone who's got a lot of passionate energy, but the unfortunate thing here is that they were led. This is what there's been their destructive energy. It's come out with the Tower, the Knight of Wands. They were led by passion. I think that perhaps they were fueled by a really unstable, I'm going to use that word, sacral center. A lot of like impulse, like sexual energy being misused, right? It's completely out of balance, truly. This is not something that you can create this stable foundation with. Look at that stable foundation. There's stability, there's commitment, there's loyalty, there's togetherness, there's working together, and like I'm seeing family, I'm seeing community, I'm seeing like this really stable energy of something really solid and abundant, truly abundant. This was not what they were operating on, quite the opposite. Okay, and in doing so, they failed to see something. Okay, they needed to make a decision, and they were just not making the right decision when it came to, and I'm just talking about a specific person, I'm talking about multiple feminine energies outside of them. They just weren't operating from their heart space, and therefore they did not see when this specific feminine energy was operating from their heart space, right? Truly, authentically. Which doesn't mean you're perfect. It means that you come as you are, right? And I think someone just didn't understand that. I also feel like this is someone who's been holding off making a decision for a while now. Yes, they've been healing and understanding themselves better, but I do think that I'm just keep hearing like they owe someone something, like an apology, just like that justice energy. Look at this, look, they know this, and they've been stressed about it. They've been backwards and forwards. They've been 50-50 about moving forwards towards this energy or not, but this is balanced. I'm hearing like it's like this feeling this energy of kind of taking and not giving, right? I just feel like there's something here that hasn't been spoken on. It's kind of like blinded to the situation, if you will, and this feminine energy was left blinded to the situation. Truly, this is someone who's truly in their headspace, have gone backwards and forwards, really argued with themselves about how to move forwards, how to progress here. And even what would be worthy of balance, like bringing the right balance in, you know. I think that there's been times that they've just thought, no, just leave it, forget it. So basically, there's a situation they need to take accountability in, and they're just... Let's find out some more. Okay. A part of me is hearing this energy of kind of, do they want me to come forwards with this? Because they need to take accountabilities regardless of what, you know, someone else will respond the way they respond. They themselves need to be the one who get themselves in that divine masculine energy to correct whatever it is. How someone else reacts to them, responds to them, isn't really, it's not about that, right? 3 of Wands. They do want to move forward with them. They don't want to just be drowning in this emotion and stuck on this. They want to do something about this, okay? Let's see. Oh, something just fell to the floor. Okay, so we've got a situation. We've got 2 of Cups. Okay, 6 of Wands. They're understanding, finally. You know, and that's come out with the Queen of Wands, may I add. So it's kind of this energy of understanding that, this is the alignment. This is it's not just passion. I'm feeling it's not just that sexual energy. I think that they might have thought that it was just lust or like infatuation, passion, whatever, impulse. Maybe they got it confused because they did have that unhealthy energy they were really imbalanced with before, right? I think that maybe they thought that was just what this was, but they're understanding something different now. They're understanding actually 222 that actually this is somebody who I think that they're seeing much more clearly than they have before. And with this energy, it's kind of like they're understanding how you could come together and really alchemize something beautiful here. And I think, again, this has something to do with past lives that's coming through again. I also feel like they're seeing this, like, this is the prize. Maybe this is that achievement that they're thinking about. Like, their personal achievement is going to mean so much to them, is like receiving this energy back from this Queen of Wands. Something fell on the floor. Okay, so the card was a 3 of Pentacles. So I feel like someone really wants to work together to build something new moving forwards. Because this got destructed before. They might have genuinely had some kind of foundation going on, you know, whether it was a connection, even a business or something. And it's just, I'm just keeping read these harsh words, like it obliterated or something. So they really went through something. But they really want to create this moving forward. They want to come together, you know. I'm seeing, you know, like the traffic lights or something, like getting the green light kind of thing. And maybe that's what they're understanding better, you know, the signs, they're seeing the signals of what it means to move forward. They're doing a lot of work in private right now. Okay, a lot of, I think they're trying to build some kind of foundation here, or they're working on top of a foundation. The Chariot, again, this is full force ahead is what I'm hearing, full speed ahead. Titanic could be soon, but I could really hear a plane right now. So maybe someone is traveling, you know, the Chariot. But I definitely get this sense of this Queen of Wands energy, feminine energy is very, I'm getting a lot of, kind of like Virgo energies with these kind of hard work in the Hermit, that kind of thing, like really, I also feel like she's very reserved. This might be another thing why someone is kind of holding back, because they're not sure how they're going to be received. But again, that's very self-focused way of looking at it. If they owe, this is what was coming through, they owe someone like some kind of balance, apology, whatever it is, they need to, I don't know, I just feel like, you know, I also feel like, you know, you get the right signs of when to move forwards, when to not, but this is, and I feel like someone hasn't because they've been seriously healing whatever this imbalance was. But I do feel like they're wanting to move forwards now. The Page of Cups at the bottom as well. I don't know if I think that sometimes they get lost in fantasy and they forget that actually this is something you need to ground in the reality, right? But with that Emperor card, look at that. The Devil card, and then we have the 10 of Wands at the bottom as well. So this currently is closing something out. And I think it has something to do with that energy that was coming through with the, I think there's something about father figure, truly. I do think there's something about that. But again, just like this imbalanced masculine energy, the healing something to do with their childhood anyway. Okay. I think that they funnily enough, this is someone who romanticizes a lot, right? And I think this is kind of like how they cause their own destruction in their mind. Okay, love yourself first. And they were outsourcing a lot, and that came through before. Your self-respect makes you more romantically attractive, releasing your ex. So I think that they've been doing a lot of clearing up of the destructive energies, but I also feel like they found it really hard to do that. They don't know, they're not someone who's known how to release and let go because they've had people around them often, you know, and they've been so used to that. So I think that's another reason why it's taken so long for somebody to really clear through like the mess, if you will. this could be the one. You've already met the romantic partner you seek, okay, separation. So there could be a separation here, which is what I think someone needs to correct themselves for or something. Free yourself. So yeah, again, freeing themselves, taking back control of their life, because when they move forwards, they want to come through with that divine masculine energy, and not with these attachments that are bound to them, you know, Capricorn energy as well, they're binding them into this heavy energy where they're still tempted, you know, tempted by whatever it is that wants to. I think that they're very something about them, they're very magnetic, right? So they'll attract a lot, but they've not been very good at discernment. And this is where they've had to learn a lot of deep lessons, and this feminine energy can be involved there, okay? Express your love, okay? So go ahead and make the romantic gesture. I do feel like worth waiting for. I do feel like with that Chariot, somebody really just want to like race forward. I think that they've realised, they're understanding the reality of it though, you know, it's not just about, so we've got stay optimistic, reconciliation wants to come out there, and trust at the bottom of the deck, okay? So positive thinking and faith is needed. I think that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to learn how to be the more optimistic. And don't forget that optimistic energy with this Queen of what I told you. She's got that glow, that energy, that, you know, fire, that passion. This is someone who doesn't want to bring her darkness. Everyone has darkness, that shadows and light. That's called vulnerability, allowing each other to understand that about each other and showing that to each other, right? It doesn't mean you bring them your shadows. Obviously, it's yours to handle, yours to, you know, deal with. But that's how you know each other on an intimate level. True love, divine connection. Yeah, someone's really going through, this is a romance of lifetimes very soon. There's definitely some kind of forward movement very soon. Let's just see what else wants to come through. Okay. Oh, and the past life relationship. So not only is someone clearing a lot from their past life, you know, this just keeps wanting, it's like sliding out every now and then, the reconciliation. It does want to come through. I just think worth waiting for, give your relationship a chance. So this has been worth waiting for, and it will be something that you're being guided to work on together when it comes through, because right about now, someone's freeing themselves of whatever it is that they still draw on when they don't feel like they don't see themselves properly, you know, that self-respect, that self-love, that destructive energy, those destructive tendencies, okay? But I do feel like with that Emperor coming out as the first card, I do think that somebody is really, they see who they want to be. They see themselves, their divine self, and they're really doing what they can to step into that now. The guidance for the divine feminine was what's coming through suddenly is that she needs to stay focused on her path. There's something about her purpose that she's aligning with right now, and it could be something about being in the spotlight, something about her success, but she needs to focus on aligning with the right people, okay? And something about being mindful of who and what she's sharing her energy with, okay? Work through your fears. I think that's what someone's doing. They're working through their fears right now. They're understanding them. That's why that heavy weight of the devil energy was coming through, because they're closing out these cycles. They really are. I can feel it. You're very close to achieving your goal. That's that achievement energy. Something that's going to be really like this personal achievement. Be bold and make the first move. Someone's preparing. And this is about being bolder. I also feel like the divine feminine energy, to be bold and make the first move in whatever it is that she's working towards. Something to do with lighting up her, like her passion is lit. Whatever it is. Don't let the past hold you back, okay? Your dreams need a practical plan. And that's what someone's realizing. They need to actually, in their physical like life, create the scenario in such a way that it's looking at the bigger picture, that they can welcome this in. You know, it's not just that romantic dreamy energy that, you know, it's actually their reality. So you need to like make the required adjustments, you know. Have faith in your dreams. Have faith. A personal issue reaches resolution. Again, something is going on here, and I think it's to do with something to do with family. You and your loved ones are safe, okay? There's definitely something here to do with family happening that someone's handling. But I think also there's something about them stepping into their own right, you know, no longer like feeding off or being leaning on or whatever. It's like they're finally stepping into their divinity without these, you know, divine masculine isn't attached to like anyone, you know, healthy connections, yes, you know. And I think that someone's had some unhealthy attachments to parents or just something to do with family. Okay, so they're kind of reclaiming their energy now, their power. Okay, don't let pride get in your way. important energies. And that pride can be literally just not wanting to show the world the real you, not wanting to be vulnerable. You know, I've said this before. I think that's where the fears stem from as well, you know. I think this Queen of Wands energy, she's so like, you know, unapologetic in her truth, right? So she'll show up and her light is shining and she's like, yes, this is who I am, take it or leave it. I think that can be intimidating to somebody about this masculine energy, okay? Well, it has been in the past, but this is what they're clearing through. They're actually seeing it as something that's like this bright light, right? Before they didn't see it. Remember, they were blind to it. They didn't make the right decision. They couldn't follow their heart. Look at this. Love that energy. Yeah, that's that world energy. They're closing out these cycles right now, so they can really race towards their dreams, if you will. There's a lot of fast moving energy. Someone genuinely could be traveling, but I also feel like there's just a lot of energy happening right now, you know, of clearing taking place, so that the downloads can really come through and you can feel it through your system as well. I think there's something really big about that, and there's a much better understanding about what the heart's kind of, I'm hearing calling, okay, but someone's actually aligning with that now, so that it doesn't just feel like, you know, obligation. It feels like they actually want this, right? They're understanding that better. Yeah, magician, time to do things, and not from, you know, shady ways, but from a more balanced, healthy way. And I think that's what they want to do, and this is what they're aiming for, which is exactly why they're really being careful with how they're creating this new energy moving forwards. Okay, I do feel like some things are a bit all over the place, you know, so in terms of someone's headspace. I think this is why they take that time they need as well, you know, to really understand this better, which is beautiful. Okay, conclusions are within reach, adjustments are required. I'm getting this message that it's always been like the final hurdle that they've stumbled at as they're moving towards whatever this is that they want to move towards, this beautiful true love energy. And now this is where there's that guidance of don't let pride get in your way, right? You've got to be bold to make that first move. A new romantic cycle begins. That's confirmation that is exactly what they want to focus on, but they know that this clearing, this energy that has been destructive in the past, they could have had something really stunning, you know, really beautiful here is what's coming through. But again, it would have been based and built on some falsity, balancing practicality and spirituality. They're really understanding that this is why that world energy was coming through. It's not just like something that's in the ethers that they're just like, you know, dreaming of. It's actually like time to ground this now, right? They're truly understanding that. This masculine energy is truly, I can feel it, is really missing this feminine energy, and they're really understanding where they went wrong, if you will, and they're really wanting to bring balance to this. And their decisions that they made in the past, they're seeing much more clearly. They're understanding this is why they need to clear so much here. You know, this devil energy, any hold that they have here, they don't want to bring it to this feminine energy. As for the feminine energy, you need to understand that this space apart, right? Yes, take things as they are. You know, people need to take accountability 100%. But also look at how much you're flourishing as a result of this time apart. You know, you stepped into your light, your truth, not anyone else's, not attached to someone else or getting anyone else's validation. It's all about you, and there's some kind of forward movement coming for you, that is for sure, okay? Focus on what you want, not what you're fearing. Really important message for this, okay, for both of you, for anyone here. Yeah, clear through the fears when they come through, so you can really focus and zone in on what you do want, what your heart really is calling you towards, and really what your soul has been preparing you for this entire time, okay? So balance is coming. I do feel like there's these expressions, you know, just express your love. I do feel like there's a conversation coming, especially with the 8 of Wands, and it's going to feel free. You're going to feel like your heart is finally saying, okay, I finally understand this now. Okay, so chemistry. So there's definitely some kind of, again, there could be a lot of sexual energy here, so be mindful of where you're leading from, right? You want it to be from the heart, right? The heart. Flirty energy. Ooh. You know, sometimes people act from that flirty energy because it's their mask, you know, their deeper emotion, past life relationship. There's a lot of depth in this connection, that's for sure. You've known each other before, and that's again why you're so drawn to each other, because you remember each other, okay? Yes, it's a soul connection. Be mindful of what's pulling you apart, or if you're trying to like hold on too tightly or like control it, be mindful, okay? Surrender, know when to release. Trust the situation. This situation is calling for you to have faith, engagement, high levels of commitment soon. But first, you have to be in a space where you are on more healed energy, not operating from wounds, because what you're coming into is something that's going to be more than just you two, right, in your union. Therefore, it needs to be from that healthy, healed space, so that it's not just cycling through the wounds for yourself and for anyone else connected to you, okay, and whatever you're going to be creating moving forwards, okay? So trust the unfold. wherever this purge is that's taking place is really completing something. So it's really about honouring that completion now, allowing that to be released, and which takes time, and it takes you to really get in touch with your body as well, right? Because I did say something about your physical. So trust that, take care of you, so that you can really operate from a more cleared space, okay, so that your eye can see much more clearly with this high priestess, okay, because wherever that faith is, that leap of faith is being taken, it's going to clear out a lot of kind of internal noise that's been taking place, okay. Let me know if this message was for you. Sending love.